Oh, hi. I I want to play Castlevania today. I will get back to Warriors All Stars on Monday, and I also did do a bit of grinding off stream. So we have I have still made progress since yesterday's stream, or not yesterday's, the day before yesterday. That was when we streamed it. But I wanted to play a Castlevania game today because I feel like it. I'm in the mood for Castlevania, and all of the games we have left are either the weird ones. They're all either the really weird ones like Castlevania, Kid Dracula, both versions by the way. There is a Famicom version and also a Game Boy version, which I have heard some say that it's just like a port with like a slightly cut down like port of the same game. And I've heard some say that it's basically a completely different game for the most part. And so I'm not sure which it will end up being. But depending on how long Kid Dracula on NES takes, or Famicom, I plan to play both. So, but on top of that, the other weird ones we have left, I'd say Castlevania 64 is arguably a weird one. But that one's also going to be multi-stream, which is why I didn't want to do it today on a Friday, because then the next day I stream wouldn't be until Monday, and I didn't want to have that big of a break between sessions of that game, because that one's pretty long. Beyond that one, we have I still want to play the Japanese version of Castlevania 3, Akumajo Densetsu, Castlevania Chronicles, which is the last like fully normal one aside from Castlevania Dracula X, the SNES version of Rondo of Blood, but that one I also have heard isn't very good. But I do still plan to play it. Also Castlevania Legends, I forgot about that one, and also Adventure Rebirth. Okay, we have a couple left that are like semi-normal, although they're kind of the more obscure normal Castlevanias. But beyond that, the really weird ones, I would say we have Judgment. I do want to play Castlevania Judgment on stream at some point. Anyone who doesn't know what that is the Wii fighting game with character designs done by the artist behind Death Note. Curse of Darkness and Element of Innocence I also want to eventually do. The PSP remake of Rondo of Blood / Symphony of the Night, Dracula X Chronicles, that one I plan to eventually get to. Castlevania Resurrection, which is not even a finished game, it's a prototype for the Dreamcast, but I want to play that one after both Legends and 64 because it's kind of the successor to 64 / Legacy of Darkness, and it features the main character from Legends, so that's going to be a bit until I get to that one, but I do want to play that one as well. So we still have a decent amount of Castlevania games left. It's just that all of those are like kind of the weirder ones. And this is the last one. The reason why I chose this one today before going with any of those, despite this arguably being the single weirdest Castlevania game, is because this is the last game that I have left to play in the Anniversary Collection. I played all of these games in this collection. Now all I have is Kid Dracula. And I also want to play the Game Boy version after this, depending on how long it takes. I'm not sure exactly how long it'll be. Also, I got an achievement for that. Did not realize that there was not only an achievement for finishing every game, but just playing each of them once. So far, it looks cute for an NES game. Actually, I gotta, really quickly, I'm gonna make sure the controls are set well. I'm gonna set this to... Yeah, I think that should work. Wait, I think that's a coffin. I was about to say, is that the Mario pipe? Is that the green Mario pipe? But no, that's a coffin. I'm blind. Oh, it's instantly start. No tutorial of any kind. Do know a tiny bit of the controls. Not a ton, but just a tiny bit. I know there's a charge attack, because I have heard that this game is arguably closer to Mega Man than it is typical Castlevania. So I did know at least a tiny bit of what to expect going in. I'm not sure what the coins do though. I assume they're just points. Any wall meat? Nope. Unfortunately. I don't know how long this game is, by the way. I'm gonna assume it's pretty short, but I have not ever watched anyone play it. I don't know a ton about it, so... The main thing I know is just the fact that it was originally a Japan exclusive, but it got an English release. Well, I don't think it's actually translated. I think it's still the exact same game at its core, but it got a release available in English on the Anniversary Collection, which is how I'm playing this here. But that's really the only thing that I know about this game. Despite being so different from traditional Castlevania though, there definitely are quite a few like remnants of, this definitely is a Castlevania game. Mostly in terms of like backgrounds and stuff. Because this is just the clock tower background from Castlevania's normal games. What the fuck? Didn't expect them to charge at me. What a mean Frankenstein's monster, or Frankenstein's creature, I think they're called in this one. I think in Castlevania, the monster is actually called the creature, because I think Frankenstein's monster is maybe copyrighted? Possibly? Oh, and there's those platforms from Castlevania, so there definitely are remnants of traditional Vania style. I'm so used to just ducking under those. Okay, I don't get sent back too far at least. Yeah, I'm not sure how exactly. Can I? Okay, never mind, I can shoot. Nice. Okay, that's gonna make these way more doable to deal with. Maybe I get an extra life if I get enough of those coins. I am noticing some slight similarities in normal Castlevania level design, namely the bridge leading up to Dracula's room. That bridge is very similar to the bridge that's always at the end of Castlevania games with the large bats, where you can usually just jump over or run under them. And then this is kind of in the same spot where Dracula's room would normally be. So I assume this game has infinite continues, but I don't know for certain. So I will probably be creating save states after each stage. Not mid-stage, I don't plan to do that, but at least after each of them, I will probably do that just in case. I don't want to have to redo the entire game. This is primarily just a fun little detour Castlevania game, so I don't exactly want to spend forever on it, like I likely would if I had to redo the game 100 times. Okay. Yeah, learning that I can duck as Kid Dracula helped that a lot. Yeah, this boss really isn't too bad if you actually realize that you can duck, which I did not immediately. I kind of just assumed that the control style would be a lot more simple, but it kind of is really just traditional Castlevania, except with a ranged attack. Yeah, I guess there are mini games. You know what, fuck it, I'll go for, yeah, I'll go for A. Shit, I had extras, never mind, I guess I'm going for C. I don't know what any of these do, so... Oh, the coins are for these, okay. Okay. Oh, I guess I have to spin the D-pad around. Wow, they give you a ton of extra lives through this. Well, I guess I won't have too much of an issue with getting 1-ups through this game, I suppose. Even if I did get decently unlucky with 3 of those, 7 lives is pretty good to go into the next stage with. I am still going to create a save just in case, but it is fairly generous at least. I guess I should get as many of these coins as possible. Oh fuck. Definitely a Castlevania game for sure. Definitely still got the occasional dickish level design. Yeah, I want to try killing these over platforms as frequently as I can, just in case. I do like the music quite a bit, surprisingly. Like, it's for an NES side game. Still quite good. Maybe not my favorite track in the entire series, but definitely not bad. I'm gonna guess that I will need to go from the top for that one. I saw there was like a homing bullets thing after the last stage. I wonder, how do I How do I swap to that one? I assume it's... okay, select. Oop. Nearly fell into a pit, but just barely avoided it. Definitely is still Castlevania. There is still definitely a ton of lag, just like NES Castlevania games. I'm honestly surprised by how, like, traditional this game is for Castlevania. Like, it's still definitely a spin-off. It's quite different, but there is enough of a commonality with the main series that, like, it doesn't feel too different, which I am surprised by. Fuck. Doing this is going to be a bit hellish. Oh, and I get sent back to the very beginning. Oh, I see. Going to be very enjoyable. Still going to keep trying to get as many coins as possible, though. I have no clue how many stages this game has, by the way. I would assume probably not a ton. This is a spin-off, but... okay, I don't know how exactly I'm supposed to deal with, that jump, because those fucking just appear out. Yeah, these, like, what? Okay, well, not gonna complain about not getting knocked back there, but, interesting. Okay, that wasn't too bad. That, I was confused the entire time, every time I survived, but wasn't too bad, surprisingly. I really don't want to die again here. I don't want to have to redo that initial spot. But, the part with the auto-scroller. Okay. Guess I will need to duck under it most likely. No, I should probably swap to the other. Okay. I can't always duck. Fuck. How far do I go back? Okay. Not too bad. That could be a lot worse. I guess you can technically, if you really wanted, you could probably just farm infinite coins. Because it does seem like the enemies do respawn, and you do always get coins from them if you hit them with the charge attack. So I suppose you can definitely go for infinite lives if you really wanted to. Okay, I think I see what I need to do for this. Okay, I need to, if it's a lower hit, I jump. If it's a higher one, then I duck. Fairly simple. Okay, yeah. That boss isn't too bad once you actually learn what you need to do. I'm gonna try going for the the C one again, since that one seems really good for extra lives. Okay, D, I guess I can try a different one. I don't need to go for the same minigame every time, just as long as I can still get a decent number of extra lives. See you again. Good luck. Huh? Okay, I won't do that again. How? Gonna choose the same one so I get the same minigame, but I don't understand how exactly this one works. Okay. Do I just start from the bottom? I guess I just start from the bottom. Okay. I don't think I understand this minigame. I wanna try that one more time. Okay. I guess at every row you have to do them in a certain order, maybe? And I just happen to luck out on the bottom row. Okay, yeah, this seems to always be the same for this one. Okay, I guess it does change each time, but my guess is that I have to do it in a certain order with each one of those. Maybe? Let's see, what's the... Okay. Oh shit. Okay. Also, I should once again create a save state here. Relatively generous with extra lives, but not like infinitely generous. I assume the bomb is just extra damage. I didn't exactly look at the tutorial for it in the last stage. I'm gonna guess it's just extra damage. Okay. I should probably keep using the homing one. Or I guess it has like an AoE to it, it seems. Either way, the homing one seems to be the best option. Which is very funny because in most NES games, the homing attacks are not very good. And I don't even think it's that amazing in this one, it's just good enough that it's better than the other options. At least for normal enemies. Okay. Just a matter of timing those. Nothing too bad. And I just... Nope. I was gonna try avoiding it, but... I guess I have to at least kind of hit it. I think I have enough coins to live with this amount. I don't even know if I'll get the mini game that's good for it next time anyways. Oh, am I already at the boss? Okay. Going to guess that I probably want to use the weapon I got for this. Shit, that one does 2 damage per attack, okay. You know what, maybe I should just use the homing for this one as well. It's too hard to hit for me. Okay, that one was pretty easy. Okay, that was a full boss. I was expecting that to be a mini boss, but nope, a full one. Okay, I do want to try all of the other mini games as well, so I'm gonna try getting either A or B. Or no, C or B. A I already got, so... Okay. I want to try at least all 4 of the minigames at least one time each, just to see what they are. I'll go with, blue. Yeah. Not gonna lie, that wasn't what I was expecting this minigame to be. Well, I won. I got it correct that time. Nope. Nah, I can live with one last life. As long as I don't get a continue. That is some sprite flickering. It's gonna take a minute to get used to the ice physics. I'm generally not the best at dealing with ice physics in most platformers. Gonna hydrate really quickly, drink some water. Okay. Hydrate properly, time to get back to the game. Yeah, the homing shot really is kind of busted. Anything over here? Nope. the ultimate counter to any ice physics in any game. Just jumping instead of walking normally. It always works. Oh, this looks like a fun jump. This... Oh wait, yeah, I have a bat form now. I guess I could have probably went through all of that anyways. Oh shit. Oh, no. Those spikes are insta-kill. Okay, I see. You know what, how long does the battle last if I transform into it? Okay, 5 seconds, I guess. And I assume if I take any damage, it'll probably go away. Okay. Gotta try rushing through here. This is going to be a fun area to go through with these insta-kill spikes. That would have been a disaster. Make this jump without being in a bad position. That would be awesome. Okay, the way the bat works is a bit inconvenient. Probably go back to homing. I think homing is probably just the best one to have at all times. Last time. Yeah, homing really does just make a complete joke out of most of these bosses. Ooh, I did not expect my jump to be that low. I get sent back really far. Let's see. Okay. Gonna bat my way through the rest of this yet again. Okay. I don't know if 0 counts as a life, by the way, so I'm just gonna make the assumption that this is my last life, even though I may have one extra. It depends whether this game counts 0 as a life or not. Well, if I do beat the level without losing all of my lives and getting a continue, I will have a lot of coins at least, so that's something. I'll have plenty of coins to go into the end with. Forgot about you. Wait, what? Oh. Okay, I won. I was like, thinking, did I fucking... Okay, Ice Spell. Okay, so this one turns them into platforms. Cool. It's like the Metroid Ice Beam. Yeah, let's see. Can I get the Okay, first try. Oh yeah. After this, I'll... Oh wait, no, that was... I did already get C. Okay, it's A that I need in that case. Yeah, after this, I'll just go with whatever it lands on, but I do want to try all of them at least one time each. Okay, Okay, that's the one that goes in A. Nice. I'm gonna go for yeah, that worked. Oh, how many did I get? Oh, I got extra. Okay, yes, I got extra coins. Do not fully understand what the fuck is going on. Okay, I got 7 lives. Good number to go into the next stage with. Barely understood that one, but alright. Let's see. This game's not too hard, by the way. I expected this to be a lot harder, but nope. It is still a classic Vania in a lot of ways, but it's definitely different enough, both in gameplay and difficulty. Not too bad though. This game's not very bad. Oh. I'm bad at platforming, but the game itself isn't bad at all. It's pretty good. Okay, yeah, I'm really bad at platforming in this. But the game is not bad. It's pretty good. I like it. A lot more than I expected to. Because I had pretty low expectations for this overall. I kind of just thought like, oh, it's gonna be baby's first Castlevania spin-off. Didn't have very high expectations, but it's definitely not bad at all. I'm guessing the higher damage attacks would probably be better for these guys, but if I can get them with all homing attacks, it still kills them pretty easily without too much of an issue. That is just Donkey Kong. Oh, fuck, even being that far to the edge is still not enough. These platforms require a fucking being at the absolute edge pixel in order to reach the other side. It is bad. Oh wait, I just realized I have the bat form. I don't love using it more than necessary, but I do have it. That is an option. Fuck it, I'm refilling my lives. Now that I remember the bat, this is gonna go by slightly easier, hopefully. Let's see. Okay. Oh. Hop on Grand Strategy 4. Is that the Smiling Friends game? Like, not game, but the game referenced in the Smiling Friends episode. I still haven't watched season 3 of that, but I think I did see that clip. I'll hop on that ride as soon as I'm done playing through every single Castlevania game ever released. Then I'll go out play Grand Strategy 4. Not gonna get a ton of coins out of this stage. Yeah, okay. That's what I thought, because I saw that literally yesterday. I assume I jump down here, but I don't want to take chances. Any secrets around here? I guess not. An auto-scroller. Interesting. Damn, even in the fucking 80s, anytime there's a train level in a game, they always have the same mechanics. It's always this stuff that slides you off the side when, like, a sound is made. This week's episode isn't out yet. It was in the teaser for this week's episode. Oh, okay. Yeah, I still need to watch both Season 2 and the earlier parts of 3. I've watched Season 1 several times, but not Season 2 or 3. Although I have heard they're really good, just I've never got around to it. That was a fun stage. Cool to see that every single train stage in any game ever has you duck at parts to avoid like higher like billboards and stuff. I abhor violence. So let's fight on my quiz show. Oh, I'm gonna fucking suck at this. I know I'm gonna fucking get all of this wrong. I'm terrible at quiz games, especially ones for like Japanese games. It's gonna have like puns and stuff. Answer. Wins. You always are hard if you fail. Hit the buzzer when you... The answer. It's a fucking really fucking weird screenshot, by the way. Fucking just a Castlevania game with the American flag and the Statue of Liberty in a quiz show with chickens. That was easy. Where am I originally from? As soon as I saw the F, I was like, yeah, I don't even need to wait for the rest. Thank you, in Japanese. I know my Japanese animes. You won, little Drac. It's a fun boss fight. It's a cute little one. do extra fucking stupid boss fight. Up, up, down, down. Oh, I get to reverse gravity. That's cool. That's neat. Game's surprisingly creative for what it is. Like, it's an NES game. I don't know when exactly this came out, but I'm gonna assume it's probably a fairly late NES game. But it's pretty creative, all things considered. Let's see, okay. Not a bad game at all. Pretty fun so far. It's been white every single time I've done this so far. I assume white is the most common one by far, since it is the one that only gives you one extra life, but it's still very interesting that it's been the exact same for all of them, despite having 5 options to pick. And now the enemies are actually taking more than just one hit each consistently. Oh shit, it's my favorite Pokemon, Trapinch! That's all, it's not my favorite, but it's a good one. I like Ven on that more though. This one's gonna be fun. No. Okay, I guess I need to use my bat form for this one, I'm guessing. Okay. I'm also guessing this is going to be an insta-kill if I die in it. Oh, they definitely did that intentionally. They knew you were gonna use the bat to go through. Okay. Not my favorite section to redo. It's just technically barely off screen. Okay, yeah. Okay, that one felt like it was close, but... I think I'm gonna keep the bat equipped just in case. Even though I probably shouldn't have it. Fucking, of course. Oh, this is gonna be fun to redo 500 times. Okay, I have an idea, but I want to test it, and if it's incorrect, then I will die. So I'm gonna test something really quick, just to see. Okay. Maybe I can do it. Maybe I just didn't time it correctly. So what I'm thinking of doing is switching to the bat while near the bottom area. Yeah, I have to time it really precisely, but it may still work. So I think that's gonna be the safest way to get through this. Okay, yeah, it does work. It's very hard to pull off exactly, but it does work, so... It's just really precise timing. I guess I could just, you know, attack the skull instead, but... I like this method more. This method is a lot dumber. That works. Surprisingly well. Oh shit, it's catching up to me. Ooh. Wow, now I know how to get through that other section. So this shouldn't be too bad. Actually, I think as long as I'm as fast as possible, I can potentially just hit it when it comes through. It's not super fast. Yeah, I can just do that. Way simpler and probably the intended method to deal with that, but I like doing the dumb route. At least once. Okay, I also want to see the later part of this section, but I think I know the problem here. I think I just need to be as far left as possible before entering the room. Hopefully. Wow. Fucking... I expected that to be a bottomless pit, but alright. Let's see. I assume there's just gonna be more of the same for the rest of the stage, most likely. Oh wait, I know this boss. I've seen this one. This boss is the only part of this game that I've seen before. Because I've heard that it's actually kind of difficult. Okay. Wow, you go so far back if you die to that boss. Like just a ridiculous distance back. Normal. Just gonna use my normal charge attack for this one. I think I am going to create a save state right before the boss, just because I don't want to redo it. I don't want to redo this entire part several times. I think I've figured it out well enough to where I don't really have anything to prove. I do think I realize how to deal with the boss here, though. I think I just need to time my homing shots better to hit the bubbles. Wow. Die instantly, but I think I do have the idea correct. I just need to actually execute on what I said myself. Let's see. I just can't jump at any point. I think that's the big thing. I need to just not jump ever. I think I should probably try taking it slow and safe. Getting a few shots off at the very beginning, but after that point, I probably just want to focus on hitting the bubbles when they appear. Okay, it just doesn't seem to want to fire them off this time. Is it just not gonna shoot any bubbles this go around? Oh, okay. Just didn't attack at all that go around. Okay. Interesting. I guess maybe it's the timing of my attacks. Maybe if you attack it frequently enough, then it just doesn't summon the bubbles. Or maybe it's an issue with like a certain number of projectiles being on screen, so maybe the homing fucks with it making its bubbles? Or maybe it's just complete randomness, and then sometimes at random it just won't shoot any sometimes. I don't know. Interesting though, I suppose. I'm gonna go for the top area first. Did I get any extra lives? I guess not. Oh. Okay, that was entirely me being fucking really dumb. I should have known instantly that yeah, this is a platforming segment. Oh fuck. I really wanted to be safe, I would probably bring the bat along instead of the homing shots, but I like the damage for them, for these guys. Oh fuck. Already down to 3 lives, fuck it. I'll just restart to refill them. I'm at the beginning of the stage anyways. Oh my god. Of course those have collision at the bottom. You know what, maybe I will just bring on the bat anyways. Just for some extra safety. For situations like that. Fuck. Okay, I still do have to pay attention at least a little bit, even with the bat. You know what, actually, I wonder, I haven't used the upside down at all, but does it even do anything here? Okay, probably not. It looks like it does not. Wait, I went the wrong way. I should have went for the right platform, not the left. This section is surprisingly hard. It's not too complicated looking, but all of the constant moving and the platforming kind of not feeling the best in this game to begin with. It's not terrible, but I think a lot of it is very precise. Like, for example, if you look at me right now, I am still on this platform despite being literally a single fucking foot on it. And a lot of jumps require you to be that far ahead of the platform in order to make them without resorting to the bat. So a lot of platforming in this game is a little bit too precise for my liking. More specifically precise in a way that is not conveyed the best, but not too bad. Fuck! I have to time that so specifically. At least I'm getting better at this first section though. But I assume I'm not even like a quarter of the way through this entire portion of the stage. Fuck! Oh, god damn it. You know what? I can't say I love this segment. But I will finish it though. The rest of this game's been pretty good though. Even this segment's not like the worst thing ever, I don't like the platforms disappearing at the bottom of the screen so quickly. They disappear a lot faster than you would expect, given how they look. This is the correct path. Oh, fuck. Like I said, fucking a lot of these platforms require you to be at the very edge in order to make a jump, and I think that's my biggest issue. Oh, fucking goddamn. Such a pain in the ass. Oh my. Okay, so those rockets appear at completely random spots, it seems, which is not great when they can potentially line up in a position that just screws you over instantly. It's the direct center of your next platform. No, 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 fuck! Oh my god. Really? I guess I'm gonna have to find some way to work around that, because that one is frequently spawning at the worst possible spot. Okay. Fuck, I'm putting a save state here just so I can see, like, is there a way to get through this? Okay, yeah, sometimes it just doesn't spawn there. So that's literally all that I have to deal with, is I just have to make sure that I get lucky so that it doesn't spawn at that exact platform. Okay, that's interesting, I guess. Shit, but interesting. Mwahahaha. I'm Karama, ruler of this world. How did a kid like you get here? But this all ends now. Die! That's a Dragon Quest character. Oh shit. These guys' patterns are not very difficult, but I am not very good at reading them despite that. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that side that, like, I'm not doing the upward scrolling section again. Hell no. Not when one of the rockets can potentially spawn in a location that seemingly makes it impossible to get up. I could be wrong, there could absolutely be some way to get through that, but it at least seems at face value like there's no way up. Okay, this guy's pretty easy. Oh shit. If I just actually move in the correct positioning. Yeah, this guy's not very difficult. You know, in a way, the best way to fight this guy is almost similar to how you fight Dracula in most other Castlevania games. Like, he's not at all Dracula, but the best method to fighting him is very similar. Just jump and use your attack with decent timing. It's obviously not exactly the same. He has very different attack patterns in specific, but the jumping and then attacking with specific timing, alongside the occasional needing to duck under a projectile, is somewhat similar in practice. Oh, it's the roulette that I barely understood last time. Yeah, I think I maybe get it now. Like, I know it's just a roulette, but like... 2 coins for 1 medal. Just gonna put this at max. And then I'll put all of these up a bit more. Yeah, that should work. Okay, hell yeah. Okay, just more coins. I'm just not gonna put any into the coin slot this time. Okay, cool. I have plenty of lives going into the next stage. I'm going to assume that I'm probably near the end. Probably not at the end quite yet, but probably pretty close. Oh, the combination of these going backwards and the screen scrolling is like mildly disorienting. The music is good in this stage though. That is one thing that this game so far has done very well at. Almost missed that jump, but not quite. Just barely made it. Main attack really is just the most broken in the entire game, even this late in. Okay, I'm gonna assume this is a split path type of situation. Okay, I get an extra heart here. But I don't need, but still neat. Probably not the best idea to let all of these build up like this. It is lagging like crazy now. You know what, fuck it, I'm switching to bat. Just flying over all of these if more appear. Okay, I guess they did despawn. Not too much of a concern now. I do need help though. Okay, there's definitely going to be a death pit here, but I still wanna try it. I'm still curious. Curious enough to take a small detour just to see. Okay, yeah. You're not intended to go down there, which I didn't think that was the case, but I was too curious not to. Not to at least once. Cool little set piece. Okay, I want the heart. I'm low enough on health that I do really want that heart. Am I already at the boss? Damn. The stage is like, these stages are like pretty short at least. none of these stages are particularly long. Am I gonna need to use, like, higher power attack or something? Is that the problem? Oh, okay, I see. I do still have to be quite careful. So I think I do know how to deal with that boss now, so that's nice. And these things have a lot of health. I did not think those would have actual attacks. Good to know. I hope that there is a healing spot soon. I don't think there is. Immediately the second I go down. Oh. I probably shouldn't be using the homing attack in this area, since these enemies all take so many hits. Their hitboxes are surprisingly large as well. I know that. Okay, no. At that time, one didn't spawn. Interesting, I suppose. Yeah, I should probably just off-screen those. Probably the better option. Yeah, at the boss yet again. This time I have a decent amount of health. I do want to try something really quickly. Because it's going to be very important for the upcoming boss. Okay, up and down is inverted in this. Good to know. And can I deactivate this in any way? I guess not. Doesn't seem like I can. Shouldn't be too much of an issue though. Okay, yeah. Pretty easy to deal with. So far all of the bosses in this game have actually been surprisingly easy to deal with if you actually know what to do against them, which is nice. Did not time that well at all. Okay, yeah. Pretty easy boss. Not a bad one though. I do like how it does require you to use your extra abilities, even the ones that haven't been super useful yet. I'll go with this one. Oh yeah, roulette again, hell yeah. Still barely understand it, but you know what? It's pretty awesome. I guess if I just put at least one into all of these, then no matter what, I get something. Well, unless it lands on 0, but I assume for the other ones, I always get something. Oh, is this one just a boss fight? Okay. I'm guessing this is going to be the end of the game, probably a final end boss rush. See, it made the sound that it makes when no damage is done, so I'm gonna guess that I have to shoot it with... Okay, yeah. I think I have to hit it with ice, specifically. Okay, restarting from the beginning. I think I understand it now well enough. Okay, yeah. This one's pretty simple. Oh shit. Didn't think it would spawn from over there. Got the Dracula teleporting thing, where it can absolutely teleport directly on top of you if you're not careful. Ah, okay. I think I know what I need to do. I'm clearly not the best at dealing with this boss. That hitbox. The hitbox is slightly lighter than it looks as well. Or slightly taller, I mean. Okay. Gotta get that timing a lot better. Okay, this one's not too bad, just a matter of actually getting the jump over a bit better, more consistently. I don't love that it can teleport on top of you, especially because, unlike Dracula in the main Castlevania games, Dracula at least is stationary afterwards. But this one moves directly toward you, so depending on where it spawns, you can be in a not very good position. Pretty much just have to constantly be moving. But once that happens... Not a very easy boss. Deceptively difficult. Gonna guess that I will not get an extra life, an extra checkpoint I mean, in between each boss. I assume this is going to be a boss rush at least. Taking this thing out first. Fucking please give me... That is... Okay, how far do I go back? Oh my... I go back before the boss. Fucking... Okay, yeah, no, I'm glad I did this. It's cheating, but it's fucking... That is... Combined with this area right here being so precise, yeah, no, I'm... Fucking... I am not doing that again if it means doing this over again. Because this is so fucking precise. Fucking... How? Please be enough time. Just fucking barely enough, oh my god. Does mean that, assuming there's another boss, I will have to do it without taking damage, which is not going to be particularly fun, but if it means not having to go back there, then I can live with that. Fuck. God damn it. Fuck! Not very fun. They not amazing into the game. Oh my god, really? God, really? Fucking hell. Oh my god, fucking seriously. Okay, I assume this is the boss here. I'm fucking just going in with the health I have, I guess. I am not redoing that entire first boss and upside down section. No way in how. Okay. How do I deal with this one? Okay, no. What? How? It does move up and down while it's moving, so maybe I can get under it if I let it get max height? Or, maybe... maybe this is what I have to do. No, never mind, I don't go high enough. Okay, no. Okay, I was right about the getting at the height of it. Okay, but I don't know how to actually do damage to it. Okay, yeah, I can just barely make it. Feels really, really weird though. Fuck, okay, why was that not enough that time? I don't get this boss. Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm assuming that I have to get it at like under it at the absolute peak of its like movement, where it's at its highest point, which is something that's gonna be fun to deal with. Especially for probably like 6 or 7 hits most likely. Okay, and sometimes it just doesn't work. Okay, That was definitely at the peak, so I don't know why sometimes. This is not the most. Okay, that worked fine, I guess. Okay, it feels random. Like it can't be just completely random. There's gotta be something actually to it that makes it consistent, but like sometimes I can go under and sometimes I can't. And it doesn't seem to be based on the height of the drill at the time it goes down, because I went under it twice while it was at its highest point, and I still got hit, so this just feels random. Yeah, okay, and it was not at its highest point there, so maybe it's because I've been charging, maybe it fucks with like the timing or something somehow. Let's see, let's test it really quickly. Okay, no, because that worked. I don't get it. I don't get this entirely, but whatever. This feels incredibly inconsistent. Okay, not too hard though, but I still don't understand why exactly it sometimes would allow me under and sometimes wouldn't. Feels very, very inconsistent. Gonna guess there's an immediate boss right here as well. Oh, I assume this is the final boss because Garamoth is the main antagonist. Which, by the way, I think his name in later Castlevania games that he appears in is Galamoth. I assume that's maybe a translation issue. Okay. Do I need to... I'm gonna have to do this without getting hit even once, which is that's my punishment for using save states in between all of these bosses, and even during the last one. Okay, I need to figure out how to actually attack this thing before doing a serious no save state attempt. But I need to figure out what even damages this, because so far it's not actually hitting. Okay, I guess maybe it's when its mouth is open? Maybe that's one? I'm going to assume that's it. I just have to wait for its mouth to open. That's my best guess. Yeah, that seems to be the case. I assume this is just going to be a first phase. There's probably going to be more afterwards, but so far this isn't too hard once you actually understand how to attack it. Okay. Okay. I do need to get way better at, like, actually staying under it. The correct spot. Not very hard to get the positioning right. I am just not great at it yet. Those have slightly bigger hitboxes than you would think the left and right lightning do. Surprisingly though, the middle fire attack doesn't actually seem to have a very large hitbox, so that one's surprisingly generous. Yeah, this seems to be the best way to go about it. Just end it slightly early, and then the bomb will take care of it. Okay. The orb in the middle is not that big, but it is still a bit hard to get the precise spacing with it, considering that the lightning on the sides do have a way bigger than expected hitbox. So it's a bit difficult to get that right exactly. You have to line up perfectly in order to miss it. Honestly, I thought that would have hit me, but can't complain. Okay, that one was pretty easy. I assume it's going to have a second phase though, so I'm still putting a state here, because with 2 lives, that is not enough. Okay, never mind. I guess not. That was... That final boss rush wasn't as bad as I was thinking. I expected there to be more than 3 bosses, otherwise I probably would have just done it fully legitimately and not saved with each of them, but first boss wasn't too bad, just kind of bad at timing it, but it wasn't too hard. The second one though, I still don't understand why sometimes I was able to walk under it and sometimes not. That boss is the main problem. And then the final boss wasn't too bad. Pretty fun, I guess. Simple. I expected it to have an extra phase though, but yeah. That's Kid Dracula, which means I've also now played every single game in the Castlevania Anniversary Collection. And now, it is time to play the Game Boy version. Because this game also got a... I have heard different things. I've heard some say that it is pretty much a port, just a port, same stages and stuff. I've heard others say that it is effectively a different game, and I don't know which it is exactly, but... But be careful, a man with a whip may come to fight you. I know who that is, I know how it's referring to. It's referring to, Leon Belmont. That one was good though. That was better than expected for a kind of usually ignored side spin-off to the series, but not a bad one though. I am going to play the Game Boy version now though as well. This one though, I don't know if I'll finish because I've heard different things about the Game Boy version. Some have said that it's just a straight full remake, but like cut down a bit to fit on the Game Boy. I've heard some say it has completely different stages. I haven't heard much about the Game Boy version. It's not a very commonly talked about game, but I have heard some stuff about it that is mixed, so I'm gonna take a quick BRB to both refill my water and stretch a little bit. And then I will be back with the Game Boy version. So BRB in like 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah, I am back, and the Game Boy version of Kid Dracula is prepared. Yeah, so this version is not in any official Castlevania collection as far as I'm aware. This one, I don't think ever got a re-release officially. I think it was only on the Game Boy. And this one, by the way, so the Japanese version of the first one never got an English release of any kind. Until the anniversary collection. I think this one, the Game Boy version, I think this actually did get an English official release, I believe. But I could be wrong about that. But I remember seeing somewhere that this maybe got an English release officially. Master, that Garamoth, he's... Where's Garamoth? Where's Poochie? You know, when Garamoth isn't on screen, everyone should be saying, where's Garamoth? I thought I got rid of him. Okay, so I guess this is a sequel to the last game? Oh well, never mind. This time I'll trash him. For good. But Master, this time he's much stronger, and on the Game Boy, than he ever was. On the Game Boy. You'd better watch out and prepare well. For battle. On the Game Boy. You've memorized all the magic spells, right? Yeah, the magic spells, right. The only one I remember is Bat. Okay, I guess I can turn to a bat from the beginning. Interesting that that's the one I get from the start. I guess it does make sense. It should really be something he has naturally. Grayscale increases power level, that's true! Everyone knows that everyone increases power level by at least 200% when they're put on the Game Boy. And don't even get me started on when they're put on the Wonder Swan. Their power level like quadruples in that case. You've forgotten all of the other spells, Master? Wow, I'm sure I'll remember them when the time comes. What a good for nothing. If you get them wrong, you might want to join Garamoth, hee hee hee. Okay, it's the exact same controls as the NES version, luckily, so I don't have to learn any new controls or anything. It is, similarly to Castlevania The Adventure and Belmont's Revenge, the movement is significantly slower than the NES version. It's not nearly as slow as those games, but it is still slower overall than the original version. The music is still pretty good. A bit extra, bit crushed from being on the Game Boy, but not bad. Still get the coins and stuff. Yeah, it seems to be almost, like the level layout so far is definitely different, but the controls and game mechanics seem to be exactly the same as the NES version. Just with different stages. Which is good. It is at least different enough so far. This is almost like the room at the entrance to Dracula's castle in Castlevania 1. Got the windows, the same straight line. You know what, actually, I want to test something. Okay, so already this is slightly better. I like this slightly more than the NES version, at least in the bat transformation, because in the NES version, if you touched any wall, floor, ceiling, anything as the bat, you would instantly leave the transformation. But in this, you stay in it. You can touch walls and stuff just fine. And you can instantly go out of it by swapping your power. Oh, it's got these platforms, okay. Incorporating some extra Castlevania gimmicks from other later games. And it seems like the best way to get through them is still mostly the same as those. I am going to occasionally do a save state, by the way. Same as the NES version, I am slightly worried, especially it being on the Game Boy. Slightly worried that it's just going to be in a case of taking me back to the beginning if I die at any point. Although I think the slower pace overall actually makes this boss even easier than the NES version. Because you get a bit more room to dodge the projectiles. Yeah, that one's even easier here than on NES. Oh, but it's got another boss. Pull it up. Fucking grandpa died, no. Okay, I had an extra phase this time around where I had to do nothing. Master. Huh? That was you who betrayed me and went over to Garamond's side? Wasn't it, Bats? That was. Oh, I'm so sorry, Master. Can you ever forgive me? One cannot easily forgive a traitor, Bats. It's so sad. But I'm always honest to you, Master. It just happened. I have no time to play around. I'm a busy person. It's surprisingly very expressive. Very expressive cutscenes for a Game Boy game. Master, are you about to go after Garamond? Now? If so, will you please take me? Anyone who goes over to his side this time is going to get. If that's alright with you, then you can come along. Yes, I shall join you with pleasure. And my other bat friend will help too, Master. Wait for me! Oh, that one's evil. Wait, I'm coming too. Oh, that one's a fucking nerd. Take me too. So fucking nerd about what the fuck. The bat attack force has become your ally. Oh, they become an attack. Okay. So this does have slightly different attacks. Oh, Kid Dracula. You are in trouble. These can help you. You'll need 2 coins to try for more coins. You'll need at least 10 coins to try for another Kid Dracula. What is your wish? 10 whole coins for another life is, that's a lot. I'm gonna fucking, I don't use the simulator enough. I mean, this real console. I guess I'll go with lives. The crystal ball knows your future. Use one ball and stare into it. When you are ready, press the A button. Do I select them? Okay, I want C, so... yes. Oh, it's just rock, paper, scissors. Okay. Pretty simple. You win, you can attack with A or B. You lose, defend with the down or left. Is this rock, paper, scissors combined with punch out? Interesting, I suppose. Good try. Next time do better, Kid Dracula. Barely understood that. I guess I didn't get any extra lives. Okay, this is just the roulette from the NES version. I'm probably going to lose it all. Yeah, it seems like this one's a bit less generous with extra lives than the NES one. The NES I had consistently like 10 lives through most of the game. This one I am going into stage 2 with 2 lives. Oh, there's a World Cup? Okay. Okay, this is definitely a very different stage. Also, I only have 3 hearts this time around, so definitely a bit less generous, I mean. Okay, I do get a 4th though. So this, I can hit these trees. Doesn't do anything it seems, but it's a cute little animation. Bit of an extra detail. Okay, it seems instead of a homing attack in this one, I just get a kind of circular attack, I guess. Doesn't seem the most useful, but interesting at least. Section. Oh, this is neat. A neat little mechanic. Okay. I think I kind of get the gimmick of the level, maybe. Okay, cool. And those do fully refill your health, not just by 1. So, nice. Did not see that one coming. But yeah, I guess to avoid those fish, I probably just want to usually just walk under them. Seems to be a good option for a lot of them. Oh, also, when I shoot, there's not an extra delay. But, well, okay. I am glad that I did put a save state there. Oh yeah, I just realized. I have hardcore mode activated on retro achievements. I'm gonna turn that off for this one. Just for this game. gonna turn off hardcore mode, that way I can use save states, because I do not want to end up with losing all of my lives and then potentially going back to the very beginning of the game, especially not while I have 2 lives. Game's a bit less generous with extra lives, and I assume it's probably not going to be as generous with continues either. You know, I could be wrong, hopefully I am, but I just kind of get the feeling that for a Game Boy game, it's going to be a bit more stingy with them. Okay. What's even the load state button? Okay, it's just that one. I don't use the simulator very often. I mean, this real console that I'm playing my real copy of Kid Dracula on, that is definitely not a most likely several $100 video game. Should probably switch to the platform for this. Fuck. Oopsies. Yeah, this one definitely so far is not harder than the NES or Famicom version, but it is definitely a bit harder to, I don't know, before next time I do a stream using the simulator, I should really, like, remember its hotkeys better. But it's not necessarily harder than the NES version, but I am significantly more worried about losing progress compared to it, considering how few lives they give you, so that's at least something that makes it kind of, at least a little bit artificially more difficult. Okay, I think I'm going to... You know what, I'm just gonna turn to the back for this entire section, if possible. I may not even have enough time. Just barely got a second use of it at the end. Okay, cool. I'm going to assume, based on the music, this is either going to be another area just like this, or it's going to be a boss. One of the two. Okay, yeah, it's a boss. Is this fucking Jason from Friday the 13th? I don't think this is what I was expecting this game to have, but it's cool at least. Neat that so far, this has been definitely different from the NES game. Like, it's similar, but it's a straight up gun here, okay. Did not save state after the last one, oopsies. Oh well, I can only win redoing this segment. I don't have to start at the boss fight, I guess. Yeah, so far I do enjoy this. This one is about as good as the NES one, and I did like the NES one quite a bit. So, definitely not a bad thing at all. Actually, I didn't try this last time, but is this just going to be like the other Castlevania games? Just a bridge where I can just walk under it? Clearly it seemed like I couldn't for the entire way, but at least for the first section, it does seem like I can just walk through it, which is interesting, I suppose. Yeah, this guy's not too bad. I think I can do him without too much of a problem. The only problem is actually getting underneath him at all times. pulls out the fucking gun. Okay, yeah, not too bad. That boss is pretty fun. A solid enough boss. You remember the magic? The magic. Oh, homing attack. Okay, so the homing attack is in this game. You just get it slightly later than the NES version. I'm just gonna skip out on both because I don't have enough coins for extra lives. I wonder how many stages this version has though. I would assume it's probably going to end up being the same as the NES version for the most part. Maybe you'll have like 1 or 2 last stages. Okay, this one seems to be not exactly the same, but similar enough for the NES version stage of this. Wonder if another one will show up. Yep, it does. Nice. I think in between each screen I'm gonna create a checkpoint, since I assume that's probably where the light boss is going to take me back to anyways. I'm gonna assume that a continue will not. I'm gonna guess that a continue will most likely completely restart the game. Also, this section is way better in this version. I don't fucking fly off into the distance if I jump even once. And also, it's slower, so it's a bit easier to predict what's coming ahead. Significantly more tolerable. Okay, and I can still also shoot upwards, which I honestly didn't expect this to have, considering that it's a Game Boy game. Oh shit. I think I'm gonna create another save state right here. I assume this is the boss, probably not much more after this point, and I feel like it's going to be a bit of a... Okay, I have the homing attack. Should really be using that. Glad I created a save state there. I don't want to redo that entire side-scrolling area. Oh, also I can change it while paused, so that's nice. Damn, this is still ongoing. I thought that would have been the boss. No, I suppose not. Did not expect that. Oh, yeah, health restore. Okay, this is way more generous than the NES version for this segment of the level. Way better than the NES version. Surely this is the end of the level. Okay, yeah, this is the actual boss. I assume the one on the platforms was the boss, but no. Same as the NES or Famicom version. Oh, and these all drop coins, even though they're like minion enemies, not full ones. I did not expect. It's definitely more damage than the NES counterparts. Okay. does take a lot more health though, although I'm not sure if that's just because it has more health overall, or if the homing attack just does less damage in this version. It could really be either one. But I feel like the homing attack probably will end up doing less damage this go around, since it did quite a bit in the NES version. It did the same as a normal attack, which push up an extra phase, okay. Did not expect a second phase. Yeah, all of these bosses, despite technically being mostly the same as the NES version, they're all very different. They all have extra phases, slightly different attacks, more health. There is quite a bit of difference in this game, despite it technically being considered a remake, or a port. It is definitely different enough that I would consider this a very different game. Probably... Press A. I already tried C, might as well change it up a bit. Your wish is sure to come true by playing Grab That. Good luck! Wave a net in the air to catch as many bats as you can. For every 5 you capture, you get 1 up. 2 up and 4 up. Are you ready, Kid Dracula? That one was way easier than the other one, the rock, paper, scissors one. I guess I can try multiple minigames since I have so many coins left. I guess I'll try for B this time. Oh, okay, this is the same as the NES version, the one that I barely understood. Yeah, so I guess it's just you put it in at random spots. Are you going to buy the Game Cube? Oh, the Steam Cube? Probably not the Steam Cube. To my knowledge, it seems to be kind of just a mini PC, with like the Steam OS, which is cool. The Steam Frame though, the VR headset, I may end up grabbing that one, depending on how much it's priced at, just because of the fact that I have wanted to get into VR for years, but I just never got around to it, because VR is pretty expensive and also very niche, and also fucking kind of a pain in the ass to actually like figure out what the best headset to buy has always been. But if the Steam Frame ends up being as good as it seems, and isn't like $5,000, I may get it. It would be, I know that it would probably be useful for, not necessarily the headset itself, but like the motion stuff would maybe be good for trying out some motion capture animation. I don't as much anymore, but I used to do some 3D modeling and animation in Blender, and I need to get that good. And maybe a good opportunity to get back into that and try out some motion capture stuff. I don't think I'm going to buy either because I have a better PC and I have a Quest 3, but I'm definitely getting the Steam controller. The controller does seem really cool. The only problem with it though is I don't think it has D-pads, it just has the trackpads instead. And those aren't bad, I'm sure. I have heard that they're surprisingly good, but I don't know, I think the trackpad, where I've never used one personally, it would take a bit of extra getting used to. Oh, the new one has a D-pad? Okay. In that case, yeah, I probably will end up getting it. If it has a D-pad, then yeah. Yeah, I may very well get one in that case, because it does seem like a decent enough controller outside of the trackpads, but if it still has a D-pad on top of that, then yeah, I might as well just get it. The new one's basically the Steam Deck controllers in a separate controller. Yeah, I knew that. I didn't know the Steam Deck had a D-pad as well, though. I thought it only had the trackpad. Did not realize that it also had a D-pad as well. It does all seem really cool though. I probably will get at least the controller, assuming if you're right and it does have a D-pad, which I just look up an image right now. Actually, I'm gonna fucking go ahead and do that. It's fine. I'm at an in-between stage point anyways. I assume it's just called like the Steam controller. Oh, it does have the D-pad. Okay. Oh, and it's got a more similar to PlayStation layout. It does look a bit odd, very bulky looking, but it does have a it has both the joysticks at the like bottom area rather than one being at the top and one being at bottom, which I do prefer. I do personally prefer the PlayStation layout for control sticks, so it does look pretty good. I think my biggest concern is going to be, is it going to be comfortable to hold? Because actually looking at it, the space taken up by the touchpads makes it a very large controller, so I think that's going to be my biggest concern, but I'm sure it'll be ergonomic enough. It looks weird, but it works surprisingly well on the Steam Deck. Okay. Yeah, I have always heard that the Steam Deck is surprisingly comfortable. I guess that does make sense. I'm surprised I did not fall there. Like there's gonna be another one. Okay, they're not too hard to avoid if you know their patterns at least. No cheap shots here, exactly. Also, I have way more extra lives now, so I guess I don't need to rely so much on save states. I'm still gonna create one at the beginning of each stage, but I am fine with redoing sections, as long as I don't have to redo the entire game, which is the main thing I was worried about, and it was why I was creating save states so frequently at the beginning, but not as much of an issue now, so... Also, if the Steam machine is less than $500, it's going to be a great value for people that want a turnkey gaming PC. That is true. If it does end up actually being like super cheap, like I saw something that said that like they're selling them at a loss, so it does seem like it is likely going to be fairly cheap, and if that is the case, then like yeah, that would be pretty good. It would be very easy. It would be a very good opportunity for a lot of people who aren't normally PC gamers to get into PC gaming. They're transitioning over from consoles. I know a lot of people have been doing that recently because of the whole Xbox situation where it's basically dying. So a lot of people have been swapping over to PC. So that would be really good for those people, I suppose. Still gonna occasionally create save states just in case. I don't know how far back the extra lives take me. Oh, wait, that's 4. I was thinking that was a bottomless pet. Seas. They aren't actually sold at a loss, but it's a pretty small profit margin. Okay, so it's like not Not a ton, at least. Still interesting, though. Has the price been revealed yet? I know it wasn't the other day when they announced it, but has it been as of today? I probably should have went for that extra heart. In fact, I think I'm gonna go back for it. Shit, maybe I don't want to actually. Yeah, okay, maybe it was a bad idea to do that. No price announcement so far. If they're all like really expensive, then of course I'm not gonna get them, but as long as they're at least like somewhat reasonably priced, I will most likely at least get the controller, because I do kind of want a new controller. Currently I'm using an Xbox controller and I'm not a huge fan of it. It's not like terrible, but I've never been a huge fan of the Xbox layout. They're probably waiting on to see how the tier bullshit situation goes before announcing a price. That does make sense, yeah. Probably would be a bad idea to announce a price when it's still like several months until it releases, just in case the whole situation gets either worse or better, but either way, no matter which direction it goes in, it probably wouldn't be the best idea to announce it this early, since they still do have a little bit until it actually releases. This is definitely, you know, it's a Game Boy version, so it is definitely more limited than the NES, especially in a lot of the... Of course, it's black and white, no colors, but so far, this is a pretty good version. This is a really good version of the game. It's pretty different, too. Like, this is actually a different game. Same story, a lot of the same level themes, and I assume this is going to end up being the same boss as well. Oh, no, different boss. Did not expect that. It's probably better to just use my normal attack for this one. It is not my normal attack. Okay, that's my normal one. Okay, how far do I go back? Hopefully the same screen. Okay, not too far. Same screen, and I keep my extra hearts, so that's nice. Oh, I guess I can just stand under her until kind of in the angle gets really easy to avoid. Okay, interesting. Little extra possible strategy. Seems more risky than actually helpful, but it is neat for an occasional safety net. Very specific positions. Hard to hit her. Okay, not too bad, at least for the first phase. I assume there's gonna be a second one. Indeed is, and I'm gonna guess that this is going to be the boss from the original version. Okay, extra attack. Not exactly the same. Good to know. Probably easier to deal with this attack instead. Okay, yeah, that actually goes down incredibly quickly when going with that one. I do definitely like how they added a lot more to all of the bosses in this version. Okay. Got a lot more attacks than the original version. Okay. Expected the laser, did not get it. Already taking 2 hits, not gonna go in well with the actual significant boss, phase 2. Should probably stay down here moment 1, just until it gets the first attack off. Yeah, probably not a bad idea. Okay, this guy's not too bad. Simple enough patterns. The main thing is just figuring out whether it's the laser or the arm. Yeah. You remember the bomb. You can... Okay, you can break walls with it. So this one does have extra utility in this version at least. Hey Dracula, you're doing well to get this far without being harmed. A message from the castle has arrived. Master, you seem well, and much stronger too, but you've still got a long way to go. From here on in, use the bat umbrella loved by your father of taking care of it in your absence. Though it may be of some use to you, I've just given it the bat, so it should reach you any minute. Yeah, fucking instant transmission. Okay, so it's just the shield. It's nice, I guess. Probably be useful for some bosses, I suppose. The very important umbrella for a count. Take care not to lose it. So long, Master. I shall await your safe writ. No, it's the bad guy. The guy. Garama. You defeated me, but it won't be so easy this time. You will understand true fear when you meet Garama. You'll always be just a child. Ha 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 ha. What a loser. Yeah, I've done all of the minigames at least once, and I have 7 lives still, so I think I'm gonna go ahead. Now I wonder, how many stages are left? Because I assume this is likely going to be shorter than the NES one, thanks to it being a Game Boy game, but... Oh, it's this fucking part. Of course they brought this back in this version. I wonder if it's as bad. Oh, it's got way more lag, so that's something already. It is almost exactly the same as the NES version, even down to the layout of these. But it is a bit more forgiving with its the timing of these at least. That's something. Oh well. though, I think the lag is the biggest problem with this version's segment of this stage. Otherwise, it's not actually too bad. So far, this is definitely better than the NES version of this. Or Famicom, not NES. It did not ever release in America, so it is not the NES. But overall, it seems more forgiving than that version. But there is way more lag to deal with, so not perfect. Okay, yeah, that was way less bad than the NES version. Lag aside, that wasn't actually that bad, surprisingly. Though save saying accurate, because I hate those segments in general. But it really could have been a lot worse. Oh, shut up. Okay, well, it's Garamond, so I don't know if this is the final boss, or I assume this isn't already the final boss, but who knows? Maybe it is. If it is, it's a very simple attack pattern. Now that should have fucking counted. I guess it was just very slightly too low. That is a fucking joke here. No? Also, I got the bomb power-up, but I assume it's just going to be used for extra side stuff, because so far, there was not anything that required it yet. And I wonder if there will be, or if it's just gonna be for like extra health and stuff. So far, this is a very nothing boss. Damn. Hit slightly too early. I thought that would have been too late, I guess not. Okay, once again, too early. I gotta do it when he's at, like, the height of his jump. Okay, even then, slightly past the height, I guess. Okay, yeah, that seems to work. Around the 3/4 mark of the jump. This is certainly a boss. Oh my god, it's a fake. A fake that has... It's an alien! And it's even weaker than the last one. Oh wait, no. Never mind. It does at least do a tiny bit more. At least something. Hard to hit though. I guess I should probably switch to my umbrella for that attack. Most likely, I would assume. Actually, the bomb is probably good for the actual attack itself. Yeah, umbrella. Okay, so that's they give me the umbrella and it doesn't even work against the current boss. That's cool, I guess. Let's see. Okay, I just need to stand here for that attack. Both phases are pretty easy once you actually learn their patterns. And this game never gets too hard. Yeah, the NES version wasn't like too bad either, but this version's really easy by comparison. I do actually like this version better than the Famicom version though. Just slightly. Oh, here we go. actually, or D, or I don't know. I'll just get whatever it lands on because I haven't even been looking at where these all are anyways. Okay, yeah, this one I'm alright at. Okay, 13 lives, I think is enough. This is probably going to end up being the final stage. Or if not the final, at least one of the last, since I did beat the fake Garamoth. Next is probably gonna be a real Garamoth, but... Let's see... Which... I guess I'll just stick to the normal charge attack for this. Upside down is probably necessary for this portion. I guess this one shoots out 3 before. Go through. I guess I have to time this really precisely. And not get hit by either. Oof. It does do a really good job of showing you the mechanics that are about to be a problem before they actually are an issue. And that's nice. The game is surprisingly very nice when it comes to conveying everything. I'm gonna switch to my back for this, because this does seem a little bit precise. Ooh, okay. Probably not a bad idea in that case. It is a later stage. Probably the final one, in fact. I guess it makes sense that it's a bit harder. Still not too bad, just kind of a bit more difficult than the last few. Still not too bad though. Just as long as you time your movements well enough. Why did that not count? Why did it eat my input there? I let go of the button for the upside down, it didn't count. Maybe I should save state after this one. After this one area. Huh? Okay, I guess if I do my max height jump, I hit the ceiling. Good to know. Now the furthest I have gotten. Two, three. Okay, that screen's not too bad, I suppose. Just very bad at timing certain jumps there. Either way, I am still creating one save state, just because I don't know what's coming out. Oh. Okay. I should probably just try rushing through that, and then position myself afterwards a bit better. It seems to be the best way to go about it. Make as much distance right away, and then position myself better later. Although they seem to have the same pattern of rocks every time, so it's not too bad. I'm going to assume that either this room or the next one will end up being a boss. Okay, I guess not this one. Oh no, it is. Oh, is this the same boss as in the... Yeah, same as the boss rush. But it wants you to duck this time around instead of jumping over, I guess. Pretty generous with the checkpoints. Oh, come on. Okay, you can still jump over, it's just slightly harder than before. Harder than the crouch method, but that's good. I'll give you some extra options. It's very nice. Yeah, this version is definitely easier than the Famicom version. This boss is, and the game as a whole, really. Yeah, this boss is actually really easy in this version. Took one hit, but it's still not too bad. Okay. I assume there's gonna be a second phase. Oh, no, never mind. Surprisingly not. I wonder if they're gonna make all of the boss rush from the Famicom version. I wonder if they're gonna separate them into stage bosses for this version. All three of them, possibly. If so, that would mean the drill version, the drill fight, is bad. Which I hope it is better in this version than the NES or Famicom, because it was not very good in that version. Need the bomb for this, I assume? Finally, the bomb is actually necessary. Okay. insta-death trap, not my favorite, but at the very least this game as a whole isn't filled with them. Yeah, the bomb seems to kind of just be a better charge attack, so maybe I should just stick with it for the rest of the game. It seems to do the same amount of damage. Oh, why did I fall for that twice? I should not have been... I should have been paying a bit more attention there. Should not have fallen for that 2 times in a row. I wonder if there's anything here. I guess it's just the light gray blocks that are breakable. Okay, this time I actually know it's coming. Yeah, just another... I wonder if any of these will end up falling. Probably not. This is probably just for getting some extra hearts, but I won't deny that I am slightly worried that another area is going to go up to kill me. Okay, end of the area. Pretty short. I do really like how all of these stages are very short and have very small screens. Much more compact, which to be fair, that's the case for pretty much all Game Boy games, but it is something that I do generally like. That seems like something that's going to be fun to get over. This one's gonna be fun, not like actually creating a save state here, just because I don't know how punishing the crushing hitboxes are in this game. Because in a lot of games they are not the most generous. Should probably clear out the entire middle row before I even bother going for the second. I want to give myself as much space as possible here. Okay. Actually, I can just... Why did I not think to just stop in the middle? Very smart streamer. Ooh. My favorite type of level. The Crushers. So glad that I figured out earlier that you can aim up in this version, because I honestly didn't expect to be able to in the Game Boy port. It's gonna come down, isn't it? I'm so worried that it's gonna come down the second I walk over here. Oh, kind of. It went up, but it still do it at least a little bit. Shit. Okay, that wasn't too bad. I expected that to be much worse than it was. This game, even when things appear that I generally hate, they really haven't been so bad so far. Okay, this... kind of just do this. The second phase may actually be easier than the first, since I'm not always grounded. It's a fun boss, it's very creative. Okay, end of the stage. I probably should do at least one more minigame before the next stage, whether it's the final one or not. I'll go for 8 again. The bat one seems to be the easiest. It's well enough, I guess. I got 3 up. I think 3 extra lives is probably... I think 9 will hopefully be good enough going into the next stage. I feel like it's probably going to end up being the final one, but who knows? There may be more. There are spikes up there. Oh, the upward scrolling one. Castlevania does sure love these. Okay, those aren't insta-kills, but they do still damage you, which is better than I expected. I was worried those would be insta-kill spikes. Nope. Not actually too unforgiving. You still have to be a bit careful then. Not get myself locked into a bad spot. Especially now that I have no extra health. Oh, fuck. It's a nice little... I actually do kind of like that sort of puzzle-like room. Not too bad. Generally, I'm not a big fan of these types of rooms, but I think the kind of semi-puzzle aspect of it makes it a lot more enjoyable than it would otherwise be. You do have to think a bit extra than you would otherwise in a lot of these. Otherwise, you'll take extra unnecessary damage. Oh wait, am I supposed to just go right? Not even... I guess I just go right, not even straight down, because that goes a lot further right than I was expecting. This is a really good stage. So far, this is a very good room. Shit. There's a extra on the platforms there. Oh shit. This one is getting quite hard, but not like a bad difficult though. Yeah, that was fun. Maybe not my favorite area in the world. But that wasn't bad. I expected that to be much worse than it actually was. Oh, but now I have the boss, of course. Or, actually no. I guess that's just the end of the room. was expecting to have to do a boss immediately after. Oh, I see what this is. Oh, fuck. Okay, so the ceiling spikes, this one is also kind of a puzzle room to avoid the ceiling and ground spikes. I do like how to deal with the limitations, they do go in more of a puzzle-like level design, more so than just traditional platforming challenges. Interesting. A nice little difference of design. I'm gonna switch to my bat for this one. Just get up here. You know what, actually the bat may be the safest option for this, because I can kind of resist against it slightly, and I can save myself in situations like that. Honestly, maybe the best option. Change that. Well, actually, no. I already have max of 5 hearts. I don't think there's a 6th one, considering I got an achievement for reaching 5. Probably should have still gone that anyways, though, just for the extra safety. Okay, the room is done. It's a little bit of a mean one, but this is near the end of the game. Oh, this looks fun. Mini versions of the boss from the main game, I guess. And okay, I can't just walk past them. At least. Oh, okay, never mind. I guess they go down at differing intervals. It's not just when you run past them. So these two go down, and this one I guess just doesn't. Maybe I can bait them a little bit. It's okay. They do telegraph it quite well though. The way they handle this in this version, that kind of enemy, is way better than the NES version. I'm guessing there's gonna be a point here where it's going to crush me against the ceiling. Nope, but there are bonus bits. Okay, down to 4 lives. Not the best situation to be in. Probably be more careful around here. Okay, I'm down to 3 lives. I think I am going to start like actually resorting to using the save states I've set up, just to not worry about a continue, because I genuinely am very worried that it's going to take me back to the very beginning of the game if I get a continue. And I would not like that. I do not think I would like to replay the entire game in one go. Oh shit. Oh. It's fine, it's fine. I didn't realize I was at 1 health anyways. As long as I don't get into the bottomless pit though, I'm fine. Okay, This one, oh, I keep falling to that exact same one. Ooh, not good. I think I've memorized the pattern of these pretty well by this point. It's this section of the level that I don't have down. And there's the bottomless pit. And that one is one again. Okay, I was at the very end for all of those. Okay, I don't know how to deal with these though. Okay, I guess I just... Okay, yeah, I guess it's not too bad. Oh, this guy is entirely... That's just a fucking... Oh, I guess it's just a normal enemy, not even a boss. Fuck. Ugh. Oh my god, I have to go all the way back here. Well, I think at this point I can at least memorize the placement of the bottomless pit, so that's good at least. Slightly more prepared for that. I guess for the ones that go in front, is keep going forward, and the ones in back, go back a bit, not too bad. Fuck! Okay, I guess I just need to jump over that first bullet, and I should be relatively fine after that. Which I do only have one health here, so I should probably just let myself die. I'm gonna recreate the save points with max life. Down 1 life, but I'm sure 5 lives will be more than enough to get through the last bit of this stage. And then I can just get more lives before the next one. Oh shit, I forgot I had the fucking umbrella, not my actual weapons equipped. Okay, not a very good situation to be in. I need to redo this with the normal attack equipped. I don't know why I had the umbrella to begin with. This one, and then for this one, it doesn't even seem to actually ever come down, but if it did, I would presumably just go backwards and go forward for it as well. Okay, I'm creating a save point here. I can do that first half very consistently. I don't have anything to prove. Oh god, there's of course a second one. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna assume I need to not attack them, but instead just jump over their fireballs when they appear. Yeah, that seems to be the best option. Oh my god, fucking please. Okay. What? Okay, I don't know what exactly I do here because, still. Okay, yeah, no, what do I do here? Because that still did not give me enough time. Do I have an attack that will make this easier, maybe? Wait, I wonder. Okay, no. Oh, but wait, no, never mind. I do have an idea relating to that, though. This may be what I'm intended to do. Okay, I'm guessing I just do this to block it. Okay, yeah. This seems to be the best option. Hopefully I just don't have enough time, though. Okay, yeah. That did not expect that wall to also come down. Okay, but yeah, this is very simple. You just need to use the umbrella. The simplest option is, of course, the best one. Just hold right with this out. And it's the boss time. You again, tiny one. This time, you'll feel the power of King Garamond. Okay, I guess this is the final boss. Roar of space. So interesting that he's like an alien in this game. Because in the future, in like Symphony of the Night, I believe Garamond is just like another servant of Dracula. Okay. Still seems to be very simple, just slightly different. Yeah, mostly the same, but just different enough to be a bit more interesting. I do really like, I think my favorite part about this game is how I get why it's considered a remake. It like kind of is, but it's still just different enough that it is actually still interesting. Like it's not just a direct port. Like this is not at all a direct port from the NES version. It absolutely changed a ton up. The level design is different. There are new power-ups, different gimmicks. Even the bosses that are the same as the NES version, the way they actually function is very different, so it's very neat. Yeah, I'm gonna create a save point here, because this is literally just... That segment right there is just running forward. I don't think I need to do that 500 times. I think I have that one down pretty easily. Running forward is not the most difficult thing in the world. There. Hit him with the bomb there. And here. I guess I can't do my full jump otherwise I'll run into him. Just a small jump for it. He seems to only fly a short distance before firing the second one, and he seems to always start with his right hand and then goes to his left hand, which would be, yeah, he seems to very consistently start in that order. I assume he's gonna have a second phase, but that, yep, second phase indeed, and dropped directly on top of me, but not too difficult though. He's mostly the same as the NES version. I'd actually say he's even easier because the hitbox on the lightning is significantly easier to deal with. is not as large. Even though he does have extra mechanics to go with him. So he's not quite a cakewalk exactly. I want to stay to his right side of this one, or my left, his right. Yeah, it's really simple to deal with once you kind of figure it out, which I do like. Yeah, I still want to stay under him, but just do the opposite side of where his hand is coming out. That way it doesn't hit me. Yeah, as long as you stay to his opposite end, it'll be pretty easy to deal with. Now I wonder how the second phase is going for it. He seems to jump forward a bit. And then he does a big jump. Just a slight jump forward. Okay, it seems to be mostly about positioning where you stand, because he seems to jump after you. Maybe? I'm not even sure about that. Okay, does he? I can't entirely tell. Is his jump predictable or not? Okay, it seems to be semi-predictable. I think I want to be as close as possible when he does the first jump, and then just go on the other end for the second jump. His first phase is pretty easy though, I think I can do that one quite consistently. Yeah, but now that I'm at the end of this game, I actually like this version way more than the Famicom version, although I do like the Famicom version as well. But I like this version way more, and overall, I think this game is actually really good. I did not have high expectations out of this game, but this was actually a really fun game. Surprisingly, despite being such a random spin-off, this is actually one of my favorite Castlevania games so far. Okay, I think I have this one down somewhat? Maybe. Kind of. I think I want to be as close as possible for that. Oh, fuck. Maybe I don't right now. Never mind. Okay, yeah, no, I definitely don't. Yeah, I don't know how exactly to avoid that. The jumps on his second phase. I'm just gonna create a save state after this cutscene, by the way, because this isn't super long, but it is long enough to be a bit annoying when going for second phase attempts, especially with how consistently I can do the first phase. Like a 30-second intro. I am going to create yet another save state right here. Phase 1 is pretty easy. You can get through it without taking much damage pretty consistently. Not too bad. It is only fun phase 2. I do like it more than the Famicom variant of it. Now here's the problem one. Okay, yeah. It seems... okay, never mind. Because I guess he goes back. Yeah, don't know what exactly I'm supposed to do here. I guess just be as close, or just run under him if possible. Yeah, I don't get that attack. Do not fully understand it in this highest. Yeah, no, I don't understand that one. Yeah, what do I do here? Do not get what exactly I'm meant to do to avoid his jumps. But it seems like sometimes I can avoid it, sometimes I can't. First phase one is very easy. Phase 2 I just do not understand yet. I may even go ahead and just create a save state after this phase since I'm so consistently doing it damageless. It's very simple. I mostly just want to get tests of the second phase out of the way. I want to learn why exactly, the exact positioning I need for its jumps to avoid. I should have. Maybe, okay, never mind. I guess I just jump under this one. Let's jump, run under both jumps. Yeah, okay, never mind. I was way overthinking it before. It's still not the most consistent, but it is consistent enough. And then every few jumps he does this. Yeah. Sometimes he does 3. I guess it depends on whether he does a large or small jump. But yeah, that phase isn't actually too bad, I guess. Okay. That's the end of the game. Both surprisingly really good. Like, both games are surprisingly really fucking good, to a point where I would say the NES one is like pretty good, or Famicom. The Game Boy version is like probably one of my favorite Castlevania games so far. Crazy, I know, but yeah, no, this one's really good. Very, very good game. Music is great too. For a Game Boy game, it's actually really good music as well. Very surprising. Yeah, so that's both games. I'm gonna be honest, I was a bit worried that I wouldn't end up being able to get to both games depending on how long the Famicom version was. But no, they're both about the perfect length, and neither are too difficult either. Surprisingly very good games. I think I like Kid Dracula quite a lot. Maybe not my favorite in the series, but it's pretty good. Definitely didn't expect the Game Boy version to be the better version as well. I like it way more. Master, I told you to be careful with your father's umbrella. I like how his whole thing is he has an umbrella, and I don't think that was a thing in the Famicom version. And I don't think Dracula has an umbrella in any other game as well. The end. Okay, so this was a 1993 game. So like not a super late Game Boy game, but also not like an early one, like a mid-life cycle Game Boy game. Because the Game Boy was around for quite a long time. I think it came out in like what, 1980, 1986, 1987, maybe 88 or 89. It may have been the late 80s. But either way, it lasted until like 2000. Yeah. Surprisingly very, very good game. Close the game really quickly. Yeah. That's going to be the end of the stream. Check something really quick. Yeah, that is the end of this stream, but it was really fun. I was very pleasantly surprised by how good both of these games were. Not just one of them, but both were pretty fantastic for being just side spin-off games that I never hear anyone bring up. It's a surprisingly fantastic game. So, yeah. But I will most likely stream again on Monday. Probably no weekend stream unless I just decide on a whim. But probably be more Warriors All-Stars. I do wanna of course get as much progress done with that as soon as possible. And then the next Castlevania game we play will, let me look at, I put together a list of all of the ones that were remaining, so let me look at that really quickly. It'll probably be Castlevania Legends, and depending on how long that game is, I may also play The Adventure Rebirth. Maybe. I'm not sure how long that one is either. But I will at least probably play Legends the next game. Actually, I may do Legends and then a run of the Japanese version of Castlevania 3. That may be what I do. Possibly. Depends on how long Castlevania Legends is. I'm gonna assume that since it's the last Game Boy game, and I've also heard that it's very easy, that one's probably only like an hour long or so, so I will most likely need at least one more game. I don't know. I'll figure it out before then. Next Castlevania stream will probably be sometime next week. Most likely not Monday, but maybe. Depends how I feel and how much. Depends if I get any grinding done on Warriors All-Stars over the weekend. If I do, then I'll probably stream Castlevania on Monday. But if I don't, then Warriors All-Stars will be then. But yeah, see you all next time. Bye-bye. Very, very fun stream. See you all most likely Monday.